That's funny.
That's a great song.
Beat your head against the wall, you'll just damage your brain. I like that.
Yeah.
Practical. So don't beat your head against the wall. It'll just damage your brain. Cut it out. One thing down. Don't beat my head against the wall today. I have to find an alternative to beating my head against the wall. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe meditation. Maybe meditation instead of beating my head against the wall. Consider it. Contemplation for the day. Meditate instead of beating head. Okay, today's talk is called The Law of Good. The Law of Good. And Myrtle Fillmore, Unity's co-founder, says, and this is the prosperity theme, and she says, all that is mine, all that is my own, actually, all that is my own under the law of good comes to me. How about that? All that is my own under the law of good comes to me. So what does that tell me? I better get some understanding of the law of good, don't I? Myrtle Fillmore early on said that owing to a lack of understanding of the health laws, neither of us was as healthy as we ought to have been. So they had to get understanding of the health laws, and when they got understanding of the health laws, they got healthy. See, they didn't go to the store to get health. You don't go to the store to get wealth. We do not go to the bank to get wealthy. We don't go to, Lord knows many of us, we do not go to our jobs to get wealthy. You know, and CVS does not sell health. And Match.com does not sell love. So where is it? It's a very secret place. Obviously, it's within. My health is innate within me. My wealth is innate within me. My love is within me. All that is my own under the law of good comes to me. And she goes on to say, your soul has taken deep root in the universal mind, and you are growing and unfolding, drawing upon the invisible and making God manifest. The power of divine mind is irresistible, and your part is to have faith in it to make its good things manifest in your life and affairs. The Christ Spirit in you is a magnet to attract the Christ love. And of course, the outer symbols of love and substance are being provided to meet your every need. Realize this truth. Whatever is your own under the law of good comes to you. Excuse me. Whatever is your own under the law of good comes to you. Whatever does not belong to you is taken away to find its right place. How wonderful! Our misery can be taken away to find its right place. Unless it is mine under the law of good. This is why I got excited about Unity. When I first came into Unity and I read this stuff, and I thought, oh, that's so true. That is so absolutely true. And I don't have to keep fighting for my limitations. I don't have to keep fighting to keep what's wrong in my life. You know, I understand our child needs to be seen, but I also understand that I do not have to turn you all into my parents anymore to see it. What if I took a moment to see myself, to see the pain that I have experienced, but not claim it in ownership, but to see it, to feel it, to give thanks for it, and send it on its way, or at the very least, give it over to Spirit to be transformed into truth. Yeah, it's better, because if I say send it on its way, I know somebody's going to want to hurl it out the window like it's something bad. What if you decided today there's not one bad thing about your past? Not one bad thing. about your past as of 2 seconds ago. 1 moment ago. Not one bad thing. Because we are very confused between bad and what we do not like. We are very confused over what we call bad and what is uncomfortable. We are very confused over bad and poor behavior. Or, better term for poor behavior is confused behavior. We think because someone has treated us poorly, or treated someone we love poorly, that it was a bad situation and they were bad people. You hurt someone I love. No. Someone I love decided to be hurt over someone else's confused behavior. I decided to be hurt over someone else's confused behavior. What I did was I agreed with them in the confusion. And all that is my own under the law of good is mine. All that is on my own under the law of good comes to me. So I need to start working on good. I need to start calling more things good. More things great opportunities to know God. Let us remember that our great opportunities aren't about a bigger house. They aren't about a nicer car. They aren't about even paying our basic bills. Some people say, yeah, Shawn, you don't understand. I've just got a basic bill to pay. I've got a mortgage to pay. I've got rent to pay. I've got food to buy. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But you've got God to know. And you need to know God first. It's been proven over and over again in this New Thought movement by people who came before us whose circumstances, quite frankly, were much more dire than ours. I don't mean to judge anybody here or negate anybody's stuff here. But I know people who, are struggling to get out of bed. Given a few months to live. Couldn't eat. Not because they didn't have the money to, but because they could not take food into their system. Food itself made them sick. And they had a thought of God. Or a God thought, to be more precise. And things shifted. And that's what happened for me. Was I in dire straits? Yeah, I guess I was. I had a job. And I didn't have much money, had a lot of debt. And I had an apartment. Well, a good apartment by New York standards. And I wanted to die. Because life was too hard. It was too mentally hard to exist anymore. Because I couldn't see the hope of love. I couldn't imagine that I could ever experience love in a true form ever again. And then I had a thought. It might be possible. And you see, that's the mustard seed. That's the mustard seed of hope, a possibility. That mustard seed. So I opened the door a crack. And then I did what ought to be done by me. I sought others who were in a similar situation. And I asked them, how have you healed? What have you done to heal? What have you had to think to heal? Who have you talked to heal? And they all said, pray. I've been praying. And then the book of James tells me, yeah, but you pray amiss. And then I found out about a little something called spiritual law. I found out about the law of cause and effect, the law of mind action. That thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. And I began to see, with less blame than ever before, how it had been my very own thinking that had brought me to the miserable state I was in. It was my own thinking that had taken me down. It wasn't my mother's thinking. She helped, but it wasn't her thinking. But you see, the problem was I agreed with her. I agreed with the conflicts in the news. I agreed with a lot of gossipy novels. I agreed with the people who criticized religion. I agreed. I didn't agree with politics. I've never been interested in politics. That never concerned me. But I agreed that there was something wrong with me. I'd look in the mirror and say, oh, there's something wrong with you. And then I would agree with myself that there is something wrong. Until somebody one day told me, there's something right about you, Shawn. And the thing that's right about you is you're the beloved child of God. And that's what I have to tell all of you today. There's something very right about you. You're the beloved child of God. And so there is hope, no matter where it's that you may be highly elevated, you may be having a real struggle. There's hope to take it up a notch. We're not going to worry about 2 notches today. Let's take it up a notch. And what I had to do, I'm not going to use the language I used the other day when I was on the phone with David, but because there's just certain words you use when you're talking to people to accurately describe something, and I've got to find another way to heck with it. I will say here right now, screw it. When I quit smoking, it was like, screw it. So I won't drive again. Screw it, so I won't talk on the phone again. Because I knew if I quit smoking, I won't be able to ever be in a car again. I won't ever be able to talk on the telephone again because I smoke the whole time I'm on the phone. I smoke whenever I drive, but if that's what it meant, see, it was getting to the point where, screw it, I want to pray, and I want to pray feeling connected. I want to pray knowing that I am being heard. I want my assurance wide open, my conviction in my good wide open. Whether this life on earth ever works out to get a thing again, ever to get stuff again, whether to pay my taxes ever again, whether anybody ever is in a relationship with me again or not. None of it was as important as my relationship to what I called God. And don't get me wrong, I had feelings about everything. I had opinions about everything. But I was willing to keep putting those opinions down and turn it over. And somebody said, well, how do you turn it over? Well, my prayer, I used the 3rd step prayer from page 63 of the big book of AA, which is, God, I offer myself to thee to build with me and to do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May I do thy will always, God. And I said those words on my knees, and I didn't have a clue what they meant. But I knew God did. But as I said that prayer 5, 10, 100 times a day, I don't know how many times, every time I had an upset, every time I thought I knew what was going wrong and I thought it was wrong, I'd have to excuse myself from the room. And I'd go find, if it was a bathroom, if it was another room somewhere, and I'd go say that prayer. And I would come back out into the situation, and I'd be calm. And I would have fewer judgments. And I could look here and say, okay, I'm uncomfortable. Well, I can tolerate being uncomfortable. What I couldn't tolerate was hearing the voice that said, I'm uncomfortable and I can't tolerate being uncomfortable. There's the difference between it. I can be uncomfortable, or I cannot tolerate this discomfort. That's my thing with mice. I'm uncomfortable, and I tell myself I can't tolerate that. But I have a friend who's really upset. I can tolerate that. I can sit and listen and not agree with them about their upset. In fact, some of you have heard me say it. Some are annoyed when I say that. Somebody comes to me, Shawn, this happened. I say, congratulations, good for you. And I say that to myself too. Good for you. Good for you, Shawn. You knocked the glass of water over it. Yes, I was hoping that would happen. I said, I just lost all my money in the stock market. Good for you. Good for you. I don't know what it means. But let's decide it's good despite how we feel. Does how I feel have to dictate what I am or what the situation is? That's right. No. Marianne had the correct answer.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. You get healing today. You know, how I feel, and how I feel isn't really it. As David would tell you, most of us, that what we say we feel is actually a thought. What I think about a situation doesn't make it true. But it does mean I get to experience it that way. If I don't like what I'm thinking, I need to come up with a new thought. And that's why I go to the voice for God, what I call spirit. We can also call it our Christ mind. It is the highest superconscious mind within us. To go within and say, I need a true thought about this. I am willing to think a true thought about this situation, rather than make a proclamation to myself and to the world that this is wrong and should not be happening. What do you mean it should not be happening? It is happening. But it shouldn't be, but it is. But it shouldn't be, but it is, and you think this about it. And you think this about it because you haven't asked God. Who here has ever gone to God and said, what should I think about this? And God said, you should hate it. You should kick it in the shins. You should declare to the world, this is bad. Who here has ever gone to God and God said that? You should hate yourself over it. You should be poor because of it. You should get a death sentence, some awful disease over this event. No, God has never said that to any of us. So why are we saying it? Why are we saying it to ourselves? Why are we saying it to each other? Why do we shout it to the television? Because we're the confused people. We are the ones. In my prosperity, all that is my own under the law of good comes to me. All that is my own. So you see, this is how your assurance of things hoped for shall expand. This is how your conviction of that which is not yet seen shall expand. All that is your own comes to you. You can now be assured that if there is good for you, it's on its way. It's on its way. And it's not like on its way on a truck across town, unless you order from Amazon. But even that, you're pretty much assured, aren't you? If you ordered it from Amazon, it's coming. It's on its way to you. But what if it's on its way to you just by way of your superconscious mind into your conscious mind? All that is my own under the law of good is coming to me from the Christ mind into my conscious mind. All the good that is my own under the law of good, all the health that is mine under the law of good, comes to me by a single thought. All the wealth that is mine under the law of good comes to me from my Christ mind into my conscious mind. Single thought. All the harmony that is mine under the law of good comes to me. Single thought. All that is mine under the law of good. And so you see, that's why we have caused a great celebration today. Because all that is mine under the law of good comes to me. And when it comes now. It's not in the future. It will never come in the future. Your good is not lying in wait for you. Your good is here now. Now. So just step back from the thought of the absence of good and step forward into the thought of the presence of good. This is my good now. I am in my right place and I'm headed for my next right place. I am in my right place and I'm headed for my next right place. Would you say that with me? I'm in my right place and I'm headed for my next right place. One more time. I'm in my right place and I'm headed for my next right place. And so it is.